O setor de eventos foi um dos grandes atingidos pela Covid-19. Os profissionais ligados ao meio enfrentaram momentos decisivos na sobrevivência de seus negócios. Agora, aos poucos, a retomada está acontecendo e o Brasil, um celeiro de talentos, já planeja um futuro com grandes realizações. Para falar sobre entretenimento e capital estrangeiro, Phelipe Siani conversou com duas personalidades internacionais. O coreógrafo Milo Level, preparador de celebridades como Michael Jackson, Jessica Alba e Julia Roberts, e o produtor artístico Nicholas Cooper, especialista em desenvolvimento de carreira de ícones da música pop, como Beyoncé e Katy Perry.
Oi, Márcio, que prazer participar desse evento aqui contigo. Muito bacana a gente falar sobre assuntos que são tão importantes, que são tão fundamentais. E, se você me permite, eu vou trazer aqui uma conversa que também é sobre economia, mas que também é sobre inspiração, que também é sobre tudo que a gente precisa ter, não só para ser um empreendedor, não só para ser um investidor, mas para ser pessoas melhores. E quando a gente fala disso, a gente também está falando de economia, por isso eu queria apresentar os nossos entrevistados de hoje aqui. Hello, guys.
How are you?
It's
Leo.
a great pleasure talking to you today. I want to begin this conversation asking you to introduce yourselves.
Sure.
Okay, for the Brazilian public. Let's start with Milo.
Okay, yes. First of all, Leo, thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to be on your show. My name is Milo Lavelle. I am a personal dance coach from a large spectrum to working personally with Michael Jackson, to a Julia Roberts, to...
As I said, just beginners.
Just beginners.
Right?
Just beginners. Just beginners. But my passion is I love teaching anyone dance.
Great.
I've had a wonderful career. I was one of the first to dance and be invited by Pope John Paul II to be ambassador of dance in the Vatican in 2000. So my career has been magnificent. I give all glory to God. And my passion now is sharing with anyone that wants to make a career of dance or want to, go after a dance career or dance with anyone that they feel is impossible. My wife, Paula Tomasella, and I are co-owners of Millennium Dance Complex.
Actually, she's a Brazilian.
She's Brazilian. And I thank God for that because she's beautiful. I love her. But they say Brazil is not for... it's not for amateurs.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So I thank God that she's in charge and that I just assist her. But we have a franchise of Millennium Dance Complex, which is the world's most famous dance studio. We work with stars like Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez, Beyonce. And now we've been about 5 years in Brazil, and we're doing the same thing. It's very successful. Our newest venture is Level Up, which will provide education and opportunities for singers, dancers, and actors. And that's why we invited Nick Cooper here, who will share a little bit about himself and why he's here and why he's our god of singing.
Nick Cooper by Nick Cooper.
Nick Cooper by, well, you know what, after him with Julia Roberts and Michael Jackson, I think the interview is probably done. We're going to shut it down right now.
Sorry, guys, you are talking to me right now.
Okay.
That's all you have today.
I need to talk about economics right now, right?
Well, Nick,
Econ 101.
well, that's old school. We need some fresh talent. Which your clients are a lot fresher.
So as he said, my name is Nick Cooper, and I am known as a transformation expert. I help to transform people's lives around the world. And what I've done throughout the body of my work is I leverage music as a tool to help people rewrite the narrative of their lives.
Great.
And so I've done that for Beyonce. We've worked with Lewis Hamilton. We've worked with Layla Ali, Muhammad Ali's daughter. I'm a coach on American Idol. My artist just won the show. I've had my own TV show on E! That came on before the Kardashians. And we've worked with several other people. But what I'm really excited about right now, Philip, is the ability to be able to leverage all that I've learned over the past 25 years and synthesize it into my own version of a finishing school which is essentially what Motown used to create Michael Jackson and, you know, all the greats of the Motown era. And so rather than just having a one-to-one experience with the artist I work with now, we are actually creating what will be a digital experience where people will be able to go through a one-on-one experience with me online. So we're actually doing webinars, we're also going to do personal seminars, and then we're looking to bring that system to Brazil to hopefully develop stars here.
Especially in pandemic, right?
Oh yeah.
We saw, you know, this kind of interaction growing, you know, hard because of we can't find people. We can't, you know, shake the hands of the guys with us. We have to, you know, to make a call. We have to start a video, to use Zoom or Google Meets or whatever. And it started a market, right? In economic terms, right?
I think not only did it start a market, it's a great statement. It started. I think it incited innovation.
That's it.
In a whole new way. I think people had to think out of the box and become, again, I believe the entrepreneurial model to me has been completely shot. Where you do it and do it and do it and have to go out and try to make things happen. I think that whole model is really going to the pot right now. I think the new model is the infopreneurial model where you really have to figure out a way to leverage the information you've amassed and turn it into some sort of rev gen. And I think during this pandemic, people have done that. And that's what we want to do with M. Lavelle and VCS. I want to help people create the next vocal shift. I want to help people shift vocally, whether they're singers, whether they're actors, whether they're corporate executives, whether they're, you know, speakers at CNN. I want to help people creatively express from a place of authenticity. You know, and it's interesting because since I've been in Brazil, it's my first time here, what I've noticed is that there's so much talent here, but so many people here to me that I've interfaced with in the 4 days I've been here, they're all looking to America. They all want to be like Beyonce or Katy Perry or Nicki Minaj or Zendaya, the people that I work with, not understanding that they're diamonds in our own backyard. And so my goal is to show them with the team that there are diamonds right here. And given proper tools, we can teach them how to mine for them.
Yeah, that's amazing because, you know, here in Brazil we have almost 5% of our GDP in event sector, so it's huge. We are a huge country. We have more than, you know, 200 million people.
Okay.
And we are talented. We know that, you know. So, you as a coach, what do you think we can talk to these people and to improve their talent and say you can do it? You know, don't be afraid of trying to improve your talent. Because most part of the time, I think the self-esteem of the Brazilian people, sometimes it could be very low. Yeah. Because of a lot of problems we have here, you know. But how we can talk to these people and really say to them, you can do it. Go ahead.
Man, I love that question. Please.
I'd love to touch on this. Because my wife and I, we proved this. We took a 14-year-old Brazilian girl who had nothing. She had an amazing voice. She couldn't dance, so my wife put her on a program. I coached her for 1 year, mentally, preparing her. Anything's possible. And to make a long story short, we contacted Simon Fuller, who was looking for some group members of people around the world, and told him, you've got to come to Sao Paulo and see not only this 14-year-old girl, but the Brazilian talent. Long story short, she is the lead singer of one of the biggest groups out there now. So with that being said, it can be done. Yeah. So now everyone's flowing to the school and M-Level Up, and we're saying to them, you may have the talent, but that might be 10, 20% of it. You have to be prepared mentally, professionally, you have to be punctual, you have to be on time.
Opportunities, right?
And opportunities.
Sometimes we don't have it in Brazil. That's the thing, right?
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add that because it's been proven. So years ago, no one could run the mile under 4 minutes. Years and years ago, no one. So everyone kept trying. They couldn't get under. One man broke the, the 4-minute mile. That's right. And then everybody started breaking it. Yeah. So it's Brazil's turn.
I could not agree with that more. I think that too often we are inches from gold. Right now we're actually in the season of the Olympics. Right? And too often we don't understand that it's the one person that decides to lean in that wins the gold. I think what Brazil needs to do now is they need to figure out how to lean in. I think that as I have interfaced with particularly some of the people at his school, I realize that there's a word called fear. And that a lot of the people in Brazil get enrolled in. And the acronym of fear, for me, it stands for false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. I think if people could understand that fear, the fear that they think is driving them is only, as you said, the insecurity that they've become comfortable with.
That's it.
And I think if people could understand that comfortability is the thief that robs you from greatness.
So, you know, I'm safe here. Why am I going to try a new thing, you know? I'm safe. That's
cool.
okay, that's fine. I don't like the place where I am right now, but I'm safe here. So why am I going to try something new, right?
Yeah, why am I going to jump in?
Like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's crazy. Why would you jump in and try something new if what you're doing right now is giving you comfort? It's almost like when he talked about the 13-year-old girl, on American Idol, I had the least talented kid on the show, and everyone knows that. This year had some of the most talented singers in the show's history. But the show isn't predicated on finding the best talent. It's predicated on creating the best story and then being able to turn that artist into someone that everyone believes in. And so if Brazil could understand, it's not about comparison. It's not about the comparison game. It's about understanding your personal valuation and being courageous enough to share that with the rest of the world. So even when we talk about economics, I think the economics comes into this because I don't think people understand their personal valuation, that they're not the artist. Before, you used to be an artist to go out and do your thing and get signed by a record label, and a record label would pick you up and you'd have fun. But now, if you understand personal branding and understand the personal valuation of your brand and can get it before enough people, you can make as much, if not more, than the people than you aspire to be like. So I think Brazil needs to understand that being people of the heart, having so much talent, being people that now have a corporate headquarters like a small infrastructure of YouTube in the city where they can go and be developed and work with experts and I can connect them to other people. This is the perfect opportunity for them to take off, particularly as they converge with other people and have fun.
Let me talk about something that is kind of complicated for us Brazilians. You know, we don't have the same opportunities. I mean, when we go to United States, we take a look at the schools, we take a look at the kids, and of course, you have poor and rich people all around. But here in Brazil, this difference is too high. You know, so it's very, very complicated to find the same opportunity in different districts here in São Paulo, for example. How can we say to these poor kids that is talented, you know, they have talent to do whatever they want, what can we say to them, especially to that kid, you can do it. If he doesn't have the opportunity, if he doesn't have a good school, if he doesn't have the right parents sometimes to teach them how to live a good life, what can we tell to this kid?
Well, one of the things I would share is, I don't know Nick's experience, but it was probably the same when we were kids. We were not allowed to eat in the same restaurants as other white Americans. Or
terrible, man.
Or use the same restroom as other white Americans because our skin was darker. And some of the places we had to eat and use the restroom were horrible. And I remember saying, Mom, I want to eat where the little other boy is eating, or I want to use the same restroom as someone else. And she says, I know, baby, one day. So I grew up thinking nothing else is possible. I can't even eat at the same restaurant, or I can't use the same bathroom as the other white American kids. So how is anything else going to be possible? Wow. But I'm very close with God, and I studied Word, and there's a lot of examples in the Bible where things were impossible, and I just said, I'm going to have faith. God's going to turn me into testimony. I'm going to be a walking testimony one day. And what I'd like to share with some of the because my wife and I had partnership with a couple favelas, and we actually went there and saw what the conditions were. The difference is, in America, the government has projects, homes, cheese, food, money. Here, I didn't see so much support. So they're pretty much on their own. So I wanted to let them know you're not alone. We are here. Our facilities are here. We have scholarships for kids in these areas, so they know you're not alone. We are one portal that is here for you. And hopefully, we together, Brazilian and American community, can open other portals.
Let's talk about economics. That's why we're here, right? But I think it's very important. We are talking about economics, actually, talking about this, right?
Yeah.
That's what we said before.
Big time.
And I really want to know why investing in Brazil nowadays. I think this is very important for us to understand why you guys that, you know a lot of good people, a lot of rich people, a lot of good clients,
people.
a lot of good clients, I mean. And why come to Brazil? Why invest in us? We know that unfortunately, we have a lot of difficulties in terms of taxes, in terms of, we have a lot of difficulties. I don't need to say every difficulty we have to invest here in Brazil.
Okay.
So why invest in us nowadays in terms of putting money in a country with so many issues?
So I think when you begin to look at, when you do a SWOT analysis in business, of figuring out who you want to do business with, there are a couple different primary things that I look for. I look for, can I add value to this marketplace? Number one. Not necessarily am I going to be able to make a lot of money in this market, but can I add value in the market? What is missing in the marketplace that my core expertise can add value to? Number one. Because we know that the Bible says that your gift will make room for you and place you before great men. So I believe that when you lead with your gift first, not being altruistic, but looking at an opportunity to add value, the value will always come back. So when I did a SWOT analysis of the 20 years that I spent in China did really well, right? I went over there, I did a lot of things. I was the first American to ever have a 1-hour special in my life. I was the first judge, African-American judge on a major television network. Over 300 million people saw my episode, and I was the first creative director ever for Hunan TV, right? So I did a lot of stuff in China. But what I realized was that the Chinese government wasn't too accepting of people of my hue. And so when I did a SWOT analysis after Milo asked me to come here of Brazil, even though there's a lot of political stuff going on, Brazil offers so many opportunities, particularly with the quality of talent, to be able to bring not only my expertise, but all the other people that I know into this marketplace and do the same thing that Korea has done for the rest of the world. So why Brazil? You guys have talent. They don't know how talented they are. You guys have opportunities for TV, and you have an opportunity to create commerce on a whole nother level. So when I look at Brazil, you guys are very much likened to Nigeria. Over 200 million people here, right? Nigeria has 200 million people, but the people here are far more readily available to take their artistry to the next level. So I think the fact that they're ready to be developed, the fact that we have a system to develop them, and the fact that people in this country are hungry to take their artistry to the next level is the perfect storm for us to be able to come over here and do a little damage.
The perfect storm, yeah. But it's still a storm, right?
It is. I mean, but it's a great thing you just said. I think, it's crazy, Philip, because I don't think that anything in life comes without precipitation. There's always turbulence. But the beauty of turbulence, I'm about to fly home, the beauty of turbulence is if you're flying, the moment you're under the turbulence and you're under the place where it gets really cool, the moment you fly a little higher than the turbulence, it's clear skies. So I think it takes a certain type of person like a Milo and myself, to come over here and decide that you are going to have a turbulent ride. But to know with faith that if you continue on the journey, just above, there are clear skies.
Eventually it goes away, right?
Eventually it goes away.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
But you talk about the SWOT analysis, right?
Yeah.
We have the SWOT analysis with the T of threats.
Look at that.
And what were the threats you find here in Brazil?
Wow, what a great question. I think the threat that I found was we dealt with two different groups, and I'll be very forthright. The first group that came in was unwilling to really let their guard down. They came in with kind of a presupposition, kind of a preconceived notion of this is who Nick is. He's a music coach, so obviously he's going to probably give us a bunch of music stuff, right? And that's not really who I am. Music is the last thing that I do, right? I really like changing people's lives. The second group that I dealt with was a group of influencers and creatives who probably wouldn't want to hear that. But they were the ones that wanted to hear what I talked about, and the group who was more corporate and polished didn't necessarily want to hear that, right? So the threat to me was you can't ever judge anyone by what you know. One has to have an authentic exchange with someone. No different than the music. Music is a vibration. It's a vibratory force that creates an exchange between two people. So the threat for me was, I think that some people, instead of feeling and accepting, people judged. And I think that if the people of Brazil, you asked us earlier, what can we do to level the playing field, given that you have no resources to take your artistry or dreams to the next level? I think what you do is you recognize the first thing, and this is what Milo and I talk about a lot. The greatest gift you have is right here. It's your thumbprint. So you show up and recognize that the greatest valuation of yourself isn't trying to be like someone else, isn't recognizing someone else's gift, isn't compromising because someone else does something better than you. It's recognizing that the personal valuation that God gave you on the end of your thumb that denotes you and separates you from everyone else, making you personally unique, is what the rest of the world will buy into, only if you believe. So the only threat, not for me, but the people of this country, is not believing in the natural, authentic gift that God already gave them.
The low self-esteem I talked earlier, right? The low self-esteem.
Yeah, yes.
It happens all the time here in Brazil, unfortunately, you know.
And you know, we're speaking about economy earlier. Yeah. If I could touch on something which I think is parallel, is one of the major reasons we launched M. Lavelle Up was about 15 years ago in Los Angeles and Hollywood. All the dancers and choreographers were busting their behinds, but they were being treated unfairly. They weren't getting paid. There was no respect.
In LA.
In LA. I mean, they were incredible. So it's important for me to say that Brazil is somewhere where we were. And I talk with my wife Paula about this a lot. And I had a meeting with some major networks here, and I shared with them, like, I love your shows, but it looks like the dancers are being disrespected. It's just beautiful women in shorts. There's a whole nother dance community out there that choreograph, and they're jazz and hip hop and ballet, and they need respect. They're doing major TV commercials for 500 reais a day. And I said, Paula, that's a $5,000 a day job. So the threat to my wife and I is we're about to change the structure of the dance industry, and it's not going to be easy. And I share that with a lot of people. That's my threat. It's not going to be easy, as it wasn't.
It's a huge mission, right?
Sorry?
It's a huge mission.
It's a huge mission.
Yeah.
But we started. We started already. We have major artists in our facility rehearsing, even today, and they are respecting the choreographers and dancers, and my wife pushes for top pay. and she has an incredible background in contracts. And she's getting the respect and pay that these Brazilian talents deserve. So hopefully this will cause a rift, because we're working with top companies who will start to say, we like to work with this company, Level Up or Millennium, because their dancers are on time, they're very professional, and they're the best. And this is what happened in LA 15 years ago. And it changed. Nowadays, if you want a choreographer or a dancer, it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
So that's our biggest threat. It's not going to be easy, but we plan to do it.
It's going to be tough, man.
It is.
I need to tell you, because you want to make some changes in a whole industry. So it's tough. It's a big deal, right? It's not easy to do.
It's not. And
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
And I respect that. I take a back seat because I do not know Brazil. I know, on a street level, but thank God, I'm around people that
It's
do
a dream
understand.
or it's a purpose?
Oh, that's a great question.
For me, it's nothing but purpose. I know that because I've had an amazing career, and I knew that God was going to place me in a place to make a difference. And we've already started doing that, and it's definitely a purpose for me. My dream, I've lived my dream, and God gave me a gift. He gave me a gift of his amazing career. Amazing.
Yeah, we know that.
I mean, for me personally, the things that I was able to do against all that I had to go through. But now my gift to God is to serve his people.
Wow.
That's my purpose. And my wife accepts that same mission. And we're surrounded now by people like you and, a good friend Patty, who have not just...
She's extraordinary.
She's amazing. And her purpose, it aligns with ours. And it's a blessing to be with you today, Leo, because I feel your spirit and your purpose to bring economy to someone like me. I mean, I failed economy.
Oh, please, man, please.
And I feel so comfortable listening to you and talking to you about things that otherwise, if I talk to somebody in a suit or in a class, I would be lost.
break it
So
down.
thank you for what you're doing for people, common people like me who, in economy, I don't get it. I don't understand. Slow down.
Yeah, I thank you, because it's hard to find people that really believes in Brazil, in terms of economics. I mean, I'm going to invest in Brazil because I believe the people, not just because I'm going to earn a lot of money, And that's why I asked you if it's a dream or if it's a purpose, because it's two different ways of thinking economics, And that's the point, right?
It really is, Leo.
Yeah.
It really is. There's a book called Good to Great, Jim Collins, one of my favorite corporate executive leaders. Good to Great basically talks about the different levels of leadership. And you have one level of leadership that just wants to work because they want people to like them. You have another level of leadership that says, you know what, I have a gift and I don't really care whether or not people like me. I want to add value to other people. And the more they add value to other people, the more other people start to add value to them. And that's where I stand. So is this a dream or is this a purpose for me? This is both.
Great.
It's not either or, it's and. And so it's my dream. It's always been my dream to be able to work as hard as I can, but it's my purpose to have worked hard and now to share this with the rest of the world so they now know that it's possible. And it's interesting. I spent 3 times in Ghana. And I have to share this because I thought that Africa was going to be it for me, being able to go to Africa, the motherland, and to do great things over there. And while I was there, it was an incredible experience. They brought me over to be a part of an economic forum to speak about economics and arts and culture and the intersection. I did that a couple times. This experience here was only 4 days. And my experience here, to me, had more of a lasting impact. I really didn't get a chance to see much of the city at all. But what I connected with was the people. And what I walk away with is that the way you embrace, the way you guys see each other, the way you leave impact on one another, the way you all want the best for each other. Maybe it's just the community that I'm in. That's rare. So is it my purpose? I'll tell you what my purpose is. My purpose is to be able to, again, pull back on the celebrities that I work with in America, create a digital system through webinars and also through other products and services where, again, I can add valued resource to the rest of the world. And I see now that Brazil needs to be on the map. Korea never thought that they could have a superstar. And BTS now is one of the biggest groups in the world.
It's huge.
Why can't we do that in Brazil? Why can't we do that in Brazil? I was personally asked by that record company to help develop the next tier of talent. Why can't I do that in Brazil?
Because we need to believe in ourselves, first of all. That's what I think. That's what I believe,
Yes.
right?
That's number one.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
we
number
do
one.
that nowadays, I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
But can I ask you a question? What do you think it's going to take for the people of Brazil to believe in themselves beyond what they see in other parts of the world?
It's 1 million question, right? The answer it's too difficult for me to tell you that, because I believe here in Brazil we have so many difficulties, so many complications. We don't have the health system is good,
Yeah.
but it doesn't work everywhere. You know, we have good schools, but you know, most part of it doesn't work as it should be. So that's it. I think the self-esteem is a problem here in Brazil. So if you don't have the, you know, the basic opportunities to improve yourself, to study, and to believe that you are really a citizen, that you are part of the community, you know.
You're a thread in the fabric.
That's it. Sometimes we don't feel this in Brazil, you know. And I think this is the biggest problem we have here. So that's why I'm going to ask you something. What is essential, in your opinion, for us to have a better Brazil, not just in terms of business, in terms of economics, but in terms of country as well? You know, in terms of what is essential to be a better country in the future? And of course, we are talking about economics too.
I think you have to understand to be a better country, and to understand the personal valuation of who you are. I think you have to understand the basis upon which your life rests. Most people are living their lives based on their life. And there's a whole subcontext under your life that drives you. I think you have, not getting too deep, I think you have the real self and I think you have the shadow self. Most of us are driven by that shadow self. And it's all of that negative internal banter, that's that inner battle that's telling you that you suck, you're not good enough, et cetera, et cetera. I think the people of Brazil across the board, no matter what social strata, economic strata, I think they have to come to terms with who they are, what their real passions are. They have to come to terms with not comparing with anyone else. And they have to understand that there's a spiritual dynamic that will drive your life when you tap into it, that'll get you much closer to where you want to be than trying to follow everyone else that you think is popular. Popular culture in other countries won't get you to where you want to be. The greatest popularity, I think, is being able, and the greatest thing is to be able to understand how popular you are and be able to add that to the rest of the world as a valued resource. So I think for me, it comes down to understanding your personal worth without comparison, and to be able to authentically be able to courageously share that with the rest of the world.
And if I can add something,
Please.
When you grow up and you become a businessman or something, you have to help who's behind you, right? I think this is very important, right? Because sometimes you didn't have the opportunities, but you could be someone, and you forget, you know, the place you left, you know, some years ago.
I'm so happy you mentioned that, because in our facility, we've already started working on the belief system. We bring the top choreographers so our students can touch and talk and
That's why
ask
I'm
questions.
here.
And that's why you're here, because his background is it's vocal coach, singing, but he's also got incredible business background. But we've brought top choreographers here. We brought, I think, about 10, 15 students to Hollywood. They met Nick. They met top choreographers. I had them sitting in Ferraris. They stayed in a $15 million beach house. I wanted them to see and touch that it's real and it's possible. And we have a saying, reach one, teach one.
Yeah, man.
Reach one, teach one. And we've already started, especially my wife has started a belief system in our school where we teach them. Not only to, not for you, but as you get, give. You know, as you're getting your Nick Cooper motivational talk, which was amazing, by the way, go spread the word. And this is how I think Brazil can start to make a difference is if the government is not supporting like we have support. I can go get $500,000 tomorrow from my government with the right business plan and the right credit rating. I can do that. But here in Brazil, I'm starting to learn there's not too much support. So what we have to do is create events and get all this money from these big company sponsors and create little pockets of belief systems. Since we're not getting that support, we can do it. If you have a company, we can reach these major companies and say, hey, we're not getting support. Let's create an event where all the money goes to some school that will reach somebody in an area that doesn't get to come to Millennium or doesn't get to come to Sao Paulo. Reach one, teach one. If we start doing that on micro levels, before we know it, 5 years, we have a region covered. And we're making a difference in Brazil through street level. Because you and I can talk all day, but we have to go out and put our jeans on and get in the street and say, you know, hey, Johnny, I know you're living way out here, but...
It's big. It's big. Look, Philip, this isn't about us.
No.
You know, I could come on here. You only heard me mention a few people that I work with. I don't do this because I want self gratification, right? It's not about talking about all the people that I work with. I've had an incredible career because people know that when I work with them, I have an expectation from them and they have an expectation from me. They know that I expect greatness and they know that if they work with me, I won't stop. I will not quit until I turn them in to what I know they can become. That's what they know. Their expectation from me is I'm going to give them my best, right? Every time. When I go to a new country, of course you always look at, wow, what are the opportunities to be able to create economic gain? But that's not the play here immediately. I didn't come here saying, wow, give me a lot of money. In fact, I just finished working with Usher. I'm working on the Michael Jackson play right now and a bunch of other stuff, right? Shooting my own show right now. I came here and paused all that because I wanted to feel this country for myself. I wanted to feel what it's really like. And what I really walk away with is I feel like the people of this country need to wake up. It's nothing worse than going into a school and realizing, you know what, I'll put it like this. It's almost like the fat girl who lost 300 pounds and looks in the mirror and still thinks she's 375 pounds. That's how I feel Brazil is. They don't really know how talented they are. And yet when they look in the mirror, all they see is all the other people around them who look better.
Self-esteem, man. Yeah, that's it.
I'm like, if you look in the mirror is going to tell you that reflection is incredible.
We are great.
You're incredible.
Yeah.
Right? And putting up, if literally, as I look at a lot of the talent that I see in America versus some of the raw talent that I saw here, beyond me coaching them or producing them, it's a lot of raw talent here.
Guys, we could be talking for, I don't know, 8 hours or more.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we have to finish this interview.
Thank you.
Or this class, I mean.
Oh, stop it.
It's not an interview, it's a class for me. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for
so
having
much.
us.
You are great, we're incredible. And thanks for investing in Brazil. Thanks in believing in Brazil. And that's it. Let's be a better place for everybody, you know.
Amen.
Thank you for being you.
No.
All the best in your show, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
All the best, man.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Man, you were great, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's very, very good to hear you guys. Yeah,
Thank you.
It's very good, actually.
Tell us
Thank
why.
You so much.
Why?
Because you don't think about money, you know. I think this is the most important. Sometimes when we talk with some businessmen, they just want to know the numbers, you know, how much money I'm gonna make here in this country, and that's why I ask about the purpose, because it's very rare to find in businessmen, you know, most part of the time, and we deal with businessmen all the time, you know, CEOs of big companies and all this kind of stuff, and I don't know if most part of the time, but a lot of times we look in the eyes of the other person and it just look to us as numbers, you know.
I was just about to ask you that.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And when I look to you guys, I see purpose. I see.
I was going to ask you, what do you see in our eyes,
That's
honestly?
That's it. Purpose. I see, you really want to make a difference. And
Yes.
that's very important. And if you think like that, you're going to make money. That's it. And it's fine. Everybody wants to make money. You have to live. You have to
You
pay
got to
your
make
bills.
money. Yeah.
You know, but if we want to think about making money with purpose, it's going to be I don't know if I can put it this way, but I think it's going to be a cleaner money. You know, it's a brighter money.
Yeah.
It's a better money.
Abundance.
Definitely, you know.
Yes.
That's what I believe.
Abundance.
Man, I love that you said that. I think that a lot of people, the driver is purely economics.
Yeah.
You know, so when they think of, again, the SWOT analysis, when they look at a country or an opportunity, it's like, how much money can I make based on the volume of people? A lot of people here, right?
Clients.
So, a lot of clients.
Yeah.
Right? Particularly from a digital perspective.
Yeah.
But I think, as you said, the companies that are built to last are the ones that add the greatest value.
That's it.
So, it's been a pleasure, man.
Think about people. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, man.
Leo.